Hey everyone, welcome back. Happy Monday night to you all. You may hear in my voice is a little congested. I got sniffles and runny nose and watery eyes because of my allergies. They come on for whatever reason suddenly, and then they go away by like usually within a half an hour to an hour they go away. Hasn't gone away yet, just yet. But here's what we got today. We have Bitcoin being down a little bit, miners being up, not much, but a little bit more than Bitcoin was being down. So that's kind of surprising a little bit today. And then we had news from Bitfarms and Riot that they kind of had a small kumbaya moment, peace moment, I guess you could say. For the time being, at least, we still have the shareholders meeting coming up that will be postponed from the original date of November 6th. That will be coming up. We don't know exactly when. And then we had Iren come out that they are already at 20 exahash. They might be at 21 exahash by the end of the month, and probably by the end of the year, like 31 exahash. So a lot of great news there. We'll cover it all. We'll see how the miners did today, along with Bitcoin. What else do we have on the plate? Now we'll look at the enterprise value of the miners as well. Might as well while we're at it. So I greatly appreciate you guys coming in here. But as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice, for entertainment only. Do your own research as always, please, please, please. And then hit the like button, subscribe. Helps me out tremendously as well. And that's all I ask of you guys, really. Okay. All right. So let's get into it here. What we got with Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners. So Bitcoin was down a little bit here today. It did get above our 200 simple moving average here, which is the red line up here. It didn't close above it. We came down throughout the day. It seems like whenever the U.S. trading starts, things go down. I just can't seem to understand it sometimes. But it is what it is. So we're still below our resistance line at 63,700 roughly. We closed at today at 63,338. We were down just a little bit, 0.38. Well, the miners actually had a pretty good day, but we are down a little bit more here on the new day for Tuesday. We are down 0.63% on that one right now, when we are sitting at 62,939, so below the 63,000 mark as it is. Okay, as the miners had a lot of them were in the green, which was kind of nice to see, right? So I posed the question on Twitter: are the miners starting to front run Bitcoin a little bit here in anticipation for October, right? And I don't know. We'll see. We had a good day today with the miners for the most part. Some were down, but the majority of them were up. You can see here that ANY was down 2.4%. Argo was actually down, up 2.7%. But Digital was up nicely today, 8.5% on really no news there. BitDeer was down 0.28. Bitfarms was up 2.5. Cypher was up 3.1. Cleanspark was up 2%. CORZ was up 4.2. Digihost was down 4.3. DMG was up just a little bit here, 0.13. Hive was up also just a little bit, 0.64. Hut 8 up 3.58. Iren up nicely today, almost 6 on it, and that's based on a report that came out that they are already at 20 exahash, so that's fantastic news there. Marathon was up a little bit as well, 3.41%. Mawson was down 4.1%. Riot was up a little bit as well, 1.95%. Stronghold up surprisingly 6.14%, and Wolf was up 8.67%, also doing really well there on that one. So it was a good day for the miners overall. Somewhere in the red, but not much, and the rest were up. So like I said, I wonder if we're starting to have the miners front run Bitcoin a little bit. We'll see. Right now it's just a one day. We'll see if this continues on going forward, and that might be a little telltale sign going forward for us that we are getting into the nice bull run here in October and November. But we'll see how that one progresses. All right, let's take a look at here on the charts or the tables for Bitcoin and the monthlies. We can see that Bitcoin is still up 7.15% in the month of September right now, which is pretty good. We'll take whatever we can get as always. And hold on a second, I gotta sneeze really quick. Okay, all right. Hopefully that didn't get caught. I tried to mute myself in that event. But we're still looking pretty good here for September, which looks like we talked before, the 2016, 2015 rally here that we had. If that is the case, we might have a nice October, November, December as well. We'll take all the green we can get on Bitcoin here after the halving event. But that's kind of where we're at. Let's take a look at the first story that we do have here, which is going to be on Bitfarms and Riot. So they both came out with press releases today. I don't know if Riot was out first before Bitfarms, but nonetheless, we'll just kind of go through this here. And there are some changes in it from what we had before. So today announced that Bitfarms and Riot have entered into a settlement agreement, the agreement in advance of the special meeting of Bitfarms shareholders. The special meeting currently scheduled for November 6th, 2024, which will now be held virtually. Okay, so that's kind of good there. We don't know when it will be held. I think they are increasing the timeline on that when that will be done. Let's see here. What else do we have here? So based on this, it looks like they finally came to some agreements between the two parties, between Riot and Bitfarms. And this is good because this was just dragging on too long. It was a bad optic for Riot and it was just holding Bitfarms back as well. But we still have to deal with this special meeting that's going to happen sometime in November. We'll get into that here in a minute. So under the terms of the agreement, Andres Finkelstein has stepped down from the Bitfarms board of directors. Bitfarms has appointed Amy Friedman to its board and the governance and nominating committee and compensation committee of the board effective immediately. So this is one of the people that Riot wanted to get on the board. So they did get that. So there's a consensus between Bitfarms and Riot here on this. Okay. And Amy has actually really good credentials here. So as long as she stays independent of Riot, I think this will be fine. Right. Riot has agreed to withdraw its June 24th, 2024 requisition as amended and to accept customary standstill provisions through the Bitfarms 2026 annual meeting with certain exceptions. Okay. I wonder what those exceptions are. Also, at the special meeting, shareholders will be asked to approve an expansion of the board from 5 members to 6 members to elect an independent director nominated by the board to serve as the 6th member of the board and to ratify the company's July 2024 shareholders' rights plan. Riot has agreed to vote in favor of these matters. Okay, so that's kind of good here because originally Riot wanted to get 3 board members on there. And now that we're increasing here with another potential board member being appointed by Riot, this would get us to 2 board members from Riot and basically 4 board members from Bitfarms. So this would still be in Bitfarms' advantage if you look at it that way. The company has provided Riot with certain rights. Not sure what those rights are, subject to certain exceptions. To purchase shares of the company provided Riot holds 15% or more of the outstanding common shares of the company. So I'm guessing as they dilute in order to grow and also to buy out Stronghold, Riot has the potential to buy more shares if they want to keep it under probably the 20% poison pill that would then take effect. Riot has also stated in their comments or in their press release that they will be evaluating this, or not evaluating this, but in general will be determining whether or not they want to hold shares, buy more shares or whatnot, right, regarding the shares amount that they hold with respect to what their operations are, what their needs are and everything else. So they may or may not actually buy more or sell some down the road. We just don't know. We'll find out when it does happen, though. As a result of the agreement to nominate an additional director for election at the special meeting may be delayed, but is in no event will be held later than November 20th. The company will update its shareholders on the timing of the special meeting as soon as it can. Okay, so that's where I was talking about earlier about the delay on it a little bit. So it's going to take us a little bit longer to find out actually what happens there and how investors and institutions and shareholders vote in that altogether, but it'll be interesting to see here. Ben Gagnon says, Chief Executive Officer said, "We are pleased to reach this agreement with Riot and look forward to turning our full attention to executing on our growth strategy. We remain focused on diversifying the business beyond Bitcoin mining into exciting and synergistic new areas like energy generation, energy trading, heat recycling, and other high-value revenue streams like HPC AI." And this is good because this has been, regardless of what you think, this does take some of your mental capacity away from what you should be doing, and you're worrying about, a hostile takeover, whatever it might be. So this is good. Once they get past this board meeting here, I think things should be much better. Jason Less, Chief Executive Officer Riot, said, "This agreement represents a significant step to advance shareholder value creation to our respective companies, and we are pleased to have reached this constructive resolution with Bitfarms. As Bitfarms' largest shareholder, we look forward to supporting a reconstituted Bitfarms board and continued engagement with the management." Okay, so that's good there. I would think that eventually maybe Riot would step back. They made their point, they made their case that the board there needed to be changed, and they did help in that. So I got to say kudos for them for doing that. And it was a good thing in the long run. But I just still don't see how Riot can possibly buy them out, whether it's a hostile takeover or not. In general, it would be paying an extreme premium, I think, in order for them to buy them out. So I don't think that's going to happen, at least not right now, or ever, I would actually think. But you just never know with these things, right? If Riot is able to get 2 board members on there, Bitfarms still has 4. So you basically need to have 2 people convert over into the Riot camp in order to do that, and I just don't see that happening with the board members that they have on there right now that Bitfarms appointed as well. But time will tell on everything, right? I could theorize all I want, but things could definitely change in the long run here. But we'll see. But this is good. I think this is the right step going forward. Riot needs to understand that without a nice premium on Bitfarms stock, they're not going to be able to buy them out. And this was just a little bit of a distraction, I think, for both companies. Maybe not a large distraction, but nonetheless a distraction, because you're taking away time that could have been spent on other things. And maybe now we'll see how Riot does going forward. But like I've said before, Riot needs to improve its uptime at Corsicana, at Rockdale as well. Maybe this will, I don't think that's going to have an impact on it. I think they have people there, but they have curtailment and everything else. But they just need to focus on their own operations as well, instead of pointing the finger here, because as you guys know, their Riot stock has not done great over the last 52 weeks. It's basically it's at the bottom of performance-wise, appreciation-wise, compared to all the other miners here. So they definitely need to look inwards a little bit here and do much better going forward. And I have all the hopes going forward that they will do that, because they have so much potential here, and it's unfortunate that they aren't able to capitalize on it for whatever reason it might be right now. But I want all the miners to do well, right? I don't want any miner to be left behind. I don't want any miner to underperform. I want all these miners to do very, very well, for not only for my sake, but also for your guys' sake, right? But we can only go look at what we have seen so far historically with the miners, and that's kind of where we grade them and judge them on based on their performance that's based on historical numbers, okay? All right, so that's it for Bitfarms and Riot here. And let's get into Iren here really quick. Iren, great news today. So Iren achieved 20 exahash milestone ahead of its time frame, right? They said by the end of Q3, we have a couple more days. We have about a week left before the Q3 ends. And they reached their 20 exahash target here before that, and they might actually get to like 21 exahash, which is really great. So let's see, I think this is a quote from Daniel Roberts here. We are pleased to announce that we've reached our 20 exahash milestone ahead of schedule. This achievement reflects the hard work of our global team. Thank you for your dedication and efforts in making this happen. And yeah, Iren has done a fantastic job growing this year. I couldn't be happier for them and the team there, getting to this milestone, and them getting also to 30 exahash by the end of the year, possibly 31 exahash as well. So great job by everybody there. Continuing on here, let's see here. Iren achieves 20 exahash through optimization of its existing data center infrastructure. Iren now expects to increase its installed capacity to 21 exahash in the coming days. That is fantastic news as well. So definitely surpassing their goals here by just a little bit, but nonetheless, it is a good thing. They are on track for 31 exahash in Q4 2024. Let me see. Childress Phase 3, 150 megawatts construction is well underway, with approximately 430 people mobilized to site. So that's great. As part of the expansion from 21 exahash to 31 exahash, previously purchased Bitmain S21 XP miners, 13.5 joules per terahash, are scheduled for shipping over the next 2 months. So that will, I would have like 99.9% conviction that they will reach their targets by the end of the year of 31 exahash. Based on the 31 exahash, they will have about 15 joules per terahash efficiency on that one. Their 20,000 cost, or 20,000, electrical cost per Bitcoin mine, and 30,000 all-in cost per Bitcoin mined as well. So we're looking at roughly, what is that? 20,000 electrical, 10,000 for overhead. SG&A, you're looking at 40 million a year. That's actually pretty good there if that's the case. And then here's our path going forward. So this is, let me see, current 20 exahash, 16 joules per terahash, 31 exahash, 15 joules per terahash at the end of Q4. And then we're looking at 50 exahash and 15. See, I was surprised that they're still keeping that 15 joules per terahash. I would think that would come down actually as you get more exahash within your machines. So I was a little bit surprised by that. But they're saying sometime in 2025. We don't know exactly when will that happen. But yeah, I think this probably needs to get updated. If they're at 16 now, 15 by the end of the year. If they're getting to 50, that's almost what, another, 19 exahash being added. You would think that would come down a little bit more, maybe to like 14 joules per terahash potentially as well. Sorry, and I gotta blow my nose, not blow my nose, but sneeze here. Hold on. All right, let's see if we can continue going forward here. But yeah, great news here from Iren. As you guys know, I'm invested in Iren. I'm invested in Bitfarms. I'm not invested in Riot. I am invested in Cleanspark as well, and CORZ. Those are the main horses that I'm invested in right now. But great news. And then if we look at what they could actually make here for the month of September based on where they were in August. If we scroll down here, we can see here that August they made approximately, on this one, approximately 14.6 million here, which was a nice small increase here from the 13.9 that they had in July. Based on where we're seeing the Bitcoin price being at on the average so far, we're seeing them possibly being like 22 million, and that's only with 314,000 in Bitcoin transaction fees, which is lower than what we had in August, roughly. So yeah, nice increase in revenue as well. That's going to be huge for them going forward, especially as they grow their hash rate to 30 exahash by the end of the year, 31 exahash actually. So it is looking good for Iren, I think, and Iren had a nice day today because of it, I believe. But that is it. Okay. That's all of those. Quickly, let's take a look at the electrical enterprise value on the miners here really quick. Where's it at? Enterprise metrics. Okay, this is as of today. The numbers that we have here, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 12, are as of yesterday. So we don't have too much change in that. The only change that we did see today was on Core and BitDigital. BitDigital overtook Core here as far as being more overvalued on their current megawatts, or not megawatts, hash rate, sorry. And this all stayed the same here anyways on the future hash rate growth. So not much change there. We're still seeing that TeraWolf, BitDigital, Core are a little bit more overvalued. And both of, well, actually all three of these guys have, well, I shouldn't say all three. Core and BitDigital have HPC customers down right now or down the road. TeraWolf is questionable right now. There's a lot of hopium and hype around that one. We'll get it also. So those are the three with HPC plays that are way over performing right now as far as value is concerned, or overvalued, you could say that. Hut 8 also potential there with Core. It wasn't Core. It was gosh, I can't remember the name now of the company that invested 150 million in them. Code 2, I think it's called, something like that. BitDeer pretty high there as well, and you got Hive, Riot, Iris, Bitfarms, CleanSpark still being way undervalued, especially when you look at future hash rate growth as well on those. Okay, that is it. All right, let's get into your guys' Q&A side of things here. My little sales pitch here. Patreon members get all the access to all these spreadsheets and everything else. The link for that is down in the description below. And that's $8 a month. Normally, if you can find a couple spots that are still open in the $4 and $5 range, go ahead and get those. Jump on those. You get a nice savings there as well. Okay, that is it. Let's get into Q&A. See what you guys think of all this stuff that's been going on here recently. Today it was actually a pretty interesting day. I was not expecting some of the news that we saw from Bitfarms and from Riot as well, and Iren definitely surprised me today as well. Well, let's see what else we got here. Okay, I'm going to go up a little bit on the comments, see if I can find any questions here. Okay, John Kurtz says, M2 money expansion, more rate cuts coming, 6 trillion in M&M. Needing to move out, risk assets on Rocktober, November bull rally begins. I agree. Let's see. Trying to find a question here. You guys are commenting between yourselves. Let's see. Applied. Spicy Banana says, or is asking Applied thoughts. I don't track Applied, so I'm not sure what's going on there. I know that they are working with possibly like a HPC play there, possibly. I think I heard something about that. BLM asks, when will the miners make me rich? In the next 12 to, I would say probably the next 12 to 15, I wouldn't say 15 months. I would say probably in the next 12 months, possibly, depending on what you bought and when you bought it in at. Let's see. Okay. Victor C. question. Retail hates because CleanSpark keeps diluting. When do you think this sentiment will change as they hardly move? With more shares being added soon, won't that scare the retail to the other miners? Well, the shares are being added, but they're not being added to the shares outstanding, right? It's the shares that they have available to them. So right now they have 300 million shares, but right now we have only, 250 some odd million shares outstanding, right? They have 50 million that they can still pull from on the ATM. We'll see how they do in Q3 here. But the 300 million that are being added are not going to be added into the shares outstanding right away. They have to pull on those, draw on those somehow. And usually that's through an ATM or a direct offering or something like that. And I've said this before, and I keep talking about it, but it seems like it's going through people's one ear and going out the other ear. The 300 million shares that they will have, I think will take like 5 to 7 years for them to use that up. They used up, 200 million to 250 million shares roughly here in the last 3 years, roughly. And that was with a much lower stock price. We were in the bear market as well, or a little bit of a bull market, and then going into the bear market, right? And you can see where they've grown from 100 petahash to now being 20 some exahash, being like the second largest miner. So I would expect the next 300 million to be used up in like 5 to 7 years potentially, because stock price is much better, meaning you don't have to dilute as much to get as more value for that as well. And right now they're still going through their 800 million ATM that they will probably, I'm guessing, I don't know this for a fact, but I'm guessing they'll probably use that up by the end of the year here. And then once we're in the bull run, they can possibly live off the dilution that they've already had, use the hodl that they have already into the bull run, sell into the bull run. They can get a lot of cash for that, and then build out in the bear market. So I wouldn't expect them to start maybe diluting, but I could be wrong on this. I wouldn't expect them to start diluting maybe until like mid 2026, maybe into like early 2027, possibly, if they did this right and the way I would do it at least. But you never know. But even then, like I said, I think the dilution we're looking at for the next 300 million, like 5 to 7 plus years potentially. What else we got here? Let's see. If you were a cynic, one would think Bitfarms only bought Stronghold to dilute and delay a Riot takeover. Now they have an agreement. Anyway, the Stronghold acquisition does not go through. No, I don't think so. I think Bitfarms sees something there that I didn't see. One of the things was the additional megawatts potential there that I didn't see. So they saw that. I'm sure they did their due diligence since they were in talks for like 3 years with Stronghold. So there's something there that they're definitely seeing it that maybe other people were not seeing. So I don't think it's going to be off the table now. Right. I don't think they needed to dilute. I mean, they could have used the dilution as well with the poison pill. If Riot got a little too aggressive and got above the 20% there of ownership, they could have used a dilution there to with the poison pill to dilute them. So I don't think this was anything to do with it. I think this was something that was maybe in the works that Ben was a part of, since Ben's been with them for a long time, being the prior chief, the chief mining officer. So he had to have known what was going on with Stronghold, all the in and outs more or less, because he's probably the one that was actually doing all the due diligence on them, possibly. And then once he got CEO, he liked what he had there and he wanted to go after it, possibly. Let's see. Bernoulli, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that right. You can have money, but if you can't operate a profit, then it means nothing. Yeah. Let's see. More expensive. It's guaranteed at least 4x from here. I would think so. Yeah, they should at least get 4x from where they are. Okay, what else we got here? Okay. Wall Street will always buy Mara over other miners. Well, they've been buying a lot of the miners themselves, of the other miners as well. Mara maybe has a little bit more. I would have to look at the numbers here. We'll see the numbers at the end of, once we get September through. We'll update the numbers on the institution's ownership of all these guys. But yeah, Mara has the name recognition there. And Mara has been kind of a favorite there a little bit because, like, I heard Mike Alfred say that Mara uses the debt markets, not debt markets, but what do they use? Gosh, I'm trying to blank here. Where they will, what is that? Mara took on debt, secured debt, I think it was, for like 750 million or something like that, right? They paid off part of it. And so that's why the institutions are making money off of them as well on top of that. So that's kind of where they might be a little bit more of a favorite. Let's see. Eddie Tran in the news update from Iren, they achieved install 20 exahash, but how much is operational? How much do you think is the average operational exahash for the month of September? Well, they came out that they were at what, 16 exahash. Let me take a look at my numbers here. Oh, let's see here. Iren, where's it at? It is over here. I thought I had them, what were they at? 16 exahash by the end of August, right? And then 20. So I would expect it to be somewhere close to like 17, maybe 18 exahash operational at that point for September, being that it's, we only have a week left in September here. And they get to 20 exahash. So I would expect them to be somewhere around there. Maybe even 18 if they get to 21 exahash by the end of the year or by the end of the month. I'm thinking maybe 18 exahash operational. Let's see. Bevneet says, Bitfarms Riot news was out of the blue. Yeah, I thought it was going to take us until the shareholder meeting, but they're working some stuff out, so that's good. What would be the price target for BitDeer if BTC goes to 100, 150,000? BitDeer is a tricky one, only because they have a lot of growth here in 2025, like the second half of 2025 into 2026 as well. So that gets a little bit more trickier, where we don't have a lot of growth this year. They are supposed to get to, like, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong here, I'm going from memory, 13 exahash, I think, by the end of the year with their latest generation, was it the A1 seal miners, I think they're calling them. But it's tough. But if Bitcoin goes up 2x, I would expect them to do at least a minimum of 3x to 4x at that point. Let's see here. Chris says, Riot will mine more than Iren in September, plus 10,000 no-brainer Riot is the winner. I hope they do mine more. They have a higher hash rate. They should be able to mine more. We'll see how much they curtail, though. Okay. Many mining mafia guys are betting on BitDigital and Cypher. Do you think they are looking at these as trading plays versus cycle plays? Probably maybe trading plays more than anything, I think. Cypher, that would be an HPC AI play. Same thing with BitDigital. BitDigital is not getting really valued on either their self-mining, which is small. I was hoping they would actually get to like 5 exahash this year, but they doesn't look like they're going to do that. And they're not really being valued on their HPC business as well. So it's just a weird place they're in right now. And I don't know if it's because they don't own any infrastructure. It's all asset light. They host everything for BitDigital, that is. Maybe. I just don't know. Will Bitcoin Cash also go up with Bitcoin? I think it should. Historically, it has, with Bitcoin going up. Let's see. Hi, Sub, is there any more FUD on Bitfarms? Not that I'm aware of. I think we've kind of gone through all the FUD that we were going to have, potentially. Right, we have a new CEO in place. I mean, we still have to deal with the ex-CEO suing the company for like 20-some million. We'll see where that goes. But I think that's about it. I think we're all done with the FUD for now. And then, we still have Riot kind of in our corner right now. We need to get them out of the corner. But that's going to take time, I think. So, hi, Sib, do you think Bitfarms is able to achieve their 21 exahash in a year? They are now at about 10 exahash away. There is only 3 months left. They did state a while back that a lot of their growth was going to be in the fourth quarter with Paraguay coming online and them also moving machines over to Stronghold for hosting. I think they should be able to get their 21 exahash by the end of the year. And they also had, 1.5 exahash or was it 1 or 1.5? I can't remember. Exahash machines that were defective, basically, from Bitmain that got sent back. They're getting new ones. Those should be coming in this month, and those should be getting energized as well. So they should be like 13, 14 exahash by the end of this month, I think. But we'll see. Andre asks, how heavy is Iren being shorted? It seems like it gets sold off so quickly after any momentum. It's not. Let me see if I have that information here. I know I have shorted information, but let me see, when did I update this last? Shorted, where's it at? Shorted, there it is. Okay. Let's take a look here. This was back in, I want to say, like towards the beginning of the month here in 8/15 is the last month, so we have data from 8/15, so this is probably like a month old here. On Iren at that point, current number of shares shorted, Iren was actually not that bad. 6.9 million shares, average percentage of percentage of average flow shorted for Iren was 8.12% at that point. We'll get an updated number for that once we start running through the numbers again for September as well, which at that point might be through like 9/15. So we'll have a little bit better data on it. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. With this agreement, does it mean Riot won't seek buying Bitfarms this cycle? I don't know. That's the question that I have, and hopefully that's one of the questions that Bryce and Anthony ask Ben when he's on, I think, tomorrow on their show. So that's one of the things I wish they would ask them is, I mean, we know right now that Riot is not bidding on Bitfarms actively. They are out there just trying to make appointments to the board right now. And with Bitfarms and Bitcoin going up in value in the next couple of months, I think it's going to be pretty tough for them to buy them out without paying a premium, which would be crazy on their part to do if they're buying it. I think they can do much better than with themselves just building out on that. Let's see. Let's see. Rumors are applied client as Microsoft. But that would be interesting there on that one. Let's see. Des Market Stats says Riot is voting in favor of the shareholder rights or poison pill so another company doesn't outbid them in an acquisition attempt. Maybe. Let's see here. Just joining Seb, what are your thoughts on Bitfarms Riot deal? Sorry if you already mentioned it. I did talk about it a little bit, but I think it's a good thing. I think they're finally getting into constructive talks. And one side is consenting a little bit, or what's the word I'm looking for? Not consenting, but concessions, right? One side is making concessions, the other side is making concessions as well. I think that's good. I think they need to get past this as fast as possible so they both can do very well going forward, potentially. Let's see here. The agreement between Bitfarms and Riot was the best outcome. Nobody wanted to take an L and cause their respective stock to drop, so they pushed it out to 2026 when everybody will forget about it. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Okay. Question: which miner is still undervalued? Thanks. Well, we looked at the enterprise value. That kind of tells us a little bit as far as which one is undervalued. But look at that. You can see it here. I think going forward for future hash rate, you got Cleanspark, Riot, Iris, Hive, Bitfarms, even Cypher Marathon are undervalued. So I would expect those guys to flip. Some of the guys that are way down here already overvalued. TeraWolf, Core, BitDigital. Core might stick around there because of their HPCI business that they have with CoreWeave. But like BitDigital, BitDeer, and Hut 8 might eventually swap out with some of these guys here. But once Bitcoin starts going up here. On that one. All right. Let's see. Which miner has the biggest multiple potential? Most of them have too much FUD, like Cleanspark, Dilution, Bitfarms, Riot Takeover, etc. I think that will go away. Eventually, that will go away. Some of the FUD that you have here, especially once Bitcoin starts going up. People are going to forget about the stuff that's happening here. They're just going to be looking at, which miners are going to be making the most potential money. That's the way you have to kind of look at it there, I think. But the miners, I would say the miners that are growing a lot this year, so that you got Marathon, Riot, Cleanspark, Iren, Bitfarms. Who else is growing a lot? I think those are like the top 5 right there. Cypher's going a little bit this year. You got also TeraWolf, I think is pretty much done for. They might have a little bit of growth, but not much there. So I would look at the miners that are growing. Hey, Sib, do you know current Riot outstanding shares, different websites giving different info? Also, when are they going to dilute next? I don't know when they're going to dilute. Riot right now, the numbers that I have for them are based on when they reported their Q2 numbers. And that is based on the day that they reported it. I have them at 303 million shares right now. And that one, I don't know what else you're seeing out there, but yeah, sometimes the numbers can be all over the place. And I just always track what they report in their filings and things like that. And that usually works out pretty well on where I think they should be and could be. And will they dilute? Yeah, I don't know when they will dilute next. They might be diluting the whole time here right now. We'll have to wait and see. Okay. Now, how would Q3 report will look like for the miners? the miners that are growing should have their revenues increasing. We'll take a look at that once we get through, once we get the not the Q3, but September operational updates for those guys. We can get a pretty good ballpark as far as what the revenues were going to be. And we can see which ones actually increased the revenues from Q2, which ones didn't. And that would be based on the ones that are growing here. And then when Andre says Iren 10x to 80, could be possible from where it's at right now. Let's see. Hi, Seb yesterday mentioned maybe using a few different metrics, but had to leave before I could elaborate. Maybe a chart showing dilution, a percentage monthly, electricity available to them, AI potential. Well, the chart showing dilution monthly, that's going to be tough because we don't have that data. We don't have that information, nonetheless, until they actually report something material that's reported to the SEC or something like that. So that's when we would get the number. So it's hard to get the dilution number on those guys. And then electricity available to them. Yeah, that would be kind of interesting. We could probably pull all the data in. AI potential, we can't talk about that now anyways with them all. But yeah, those are all good things. Sorry, guys. I got to take a clear my throat here. Okay. Hopefully you guys didn't hear that. Otherwise, it would have blown out your ears. What else we got here? Okay. Should I get more Bitfarms exposure after this deal? Currently, 44% of my miner portfolio might chop DMGI, which is 10%, and add more. What do you think? Cleanspark, Iren, Wolf are my others. Well, I think you have really good ones here. Cleanspark, Iren, and Wolf. And then if you got Bitfarms already, DMGI, I would possibly chop out of there and put it into the other ones equally, maybe. I think those will do better than DMGI going forward. Let's see. Wolf keeps going up while Riot is in the gutter. Well, Wolf is going up because of the HPC potential there. Do you think there are any cons in Iren building out too quickly? Yes, it's amazing. They are efficient in building out data centers, but sometimes if a company is too fast, they tend to have hiccups. Thoughts? They had a hiccup in, what was it, August, where they hedged their electrical pricing, right? But they fixed that in September, or was it the end of September? They fixed it by the end of September, so that was good there. But no, as long as, with them, it's more of a, you build and iterate on top of what you've done already, and then you can build faster that way. It just, once you build the first building, it gets much easier to build the second and third, fourth, fifth building. So I think they've been in the works on this for a long time, over the last probably year to 2 years. So no, I don't think so. I think BitDigital will move away from mining and be a pure AI play. I'm kind of thinking the same thing, Spicy Banana. So I'm with you on that, especially since they haven't given any guidance on hash rate growth this year. They were originally talking about getting to like 6x hash rate in the year, but that's kind of stopped here in the last couple months. So yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one. Let's see. Question. So the shareholder meeting now is going to be for +1 Riot board member. Yes. They got one on there already, right? And they're going to possibly get another one there as well. Plus, we're going to increase the number of board members to 6. So you still have, at that point, you would have 2 Riot board members and 4 Bitfarms board members, yeah. Okay, what else we got here? Private says, you have such a calming tone and voice and positive, optimistic attitude that is always cheers me up and encourages me to just be patient and hold Bitfarms and Cleanspark another 12 months. Yeah, I appreciate that. I get that a lot from people, family, friends, and coworkers and all that stuff. And I don't know if it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing in the long run, right? But sometimes I think you may want to have a little bit more reaction than what I have. I'm kind of monotone sometimes, I guess. But I always try to be positive on things, right? No sense of being a gloom and doubter and all that stuff. I like to look at the positive of people and companies and things like that. I think life is better lived that way than being all doom and gloom. But yeah, thank you. Let's see. You always say the Bitfarms should be double at this point. How soon it can do 4 USD from here and then 4x from 4 USD? Bitcoin needs to go up right now. I think Bitcoin just needs to go up. They need to continue on execution of their growth for 21 exahash, 34 exahash sometime next year. And if they can do that with Bitcoin going up to 120, 150, 180,000, 200,000, whatever it might be, that should be a huge driver for the stock going up as well. Okay, what else we got here? Let's see. Richard Stamp says, I think Jason's letting Ben run Bitfarms. Can argue with job Ben is doing with his new leadership role. Yeah, I can't argue with it either. And I was a strong proponent of Ben getting the job there, or getting the CEO position. He had the job there as chief mining officer. Let's see. Amara used convertible bonds, which is why they Yes. Okay. Thank you for the correction there. Yeah. I knew I was missing a word there or a phrase, but yes, that is exactly right. Thank you. Okay. What else we got here? Andre says, pump the likes to 100 less than 50 right now. It's a little bit above that. We're at 57. We're not too far, but I'm catching up here as well. And so I appreciate it, Andre. Thank you. Let's see. Thoughts on NVIDIA funding CoreWeave to buy NVIDIA chips? Well, they're doing both, right? They're funding them to become... You want a little bit more competition in this space than what we have right now between Amazon, Google, Microsoft, Oracle, Meta. But Meta doesn't... I don't think Meta sells any of their infrastructure to end users or to customers. So you really have like maybe 4 hyperscalers there. Maybe a couple other ones that are much smaller. But I think NVIDIA wants a little bit more competition in the field, potentially, which is good always. But yeah, CoreWeave wants to become a hyperscaler more or less. They want to become like AWS and Google, where they have, Google Cloud, and they'll have their own CoreWeave cloud or something like that, which is definitely different from some of the other miners that are trying to get customers actually to use their systems on that one. But that's kind of the way I see it. Let's see here. Sourmelon Gaming says, Jason Les wanted so many people time from this Bitfarms deal. It's ridiculous. Bitfarms was never going to sell. It was so obvious Jason pursues anything other than his company's operations. Man-child. It would have been a great deal if he could have gotten Bitfarms. Bitfarms has some good stuff happening for him, and he played the dice, he played his cards a little bit, and it didn't work out. Sometimes it doesn't work out, unfortunately. But I understand the business mentality behind it. Let's see. Rogers, Cleanspark still 270. I think somewhere between 60 and 70. I think that is still doable. We've had a little bit more share dilution here in the last quarter and things like that, so that's why I'm going down a little bit. But with them actually increasing their hash rate, yeah, we could definitely still get it to, I'm not saying definitely, but I'm thinking it's going to be close if they can get to 70 on that one. Maybe a little bit higher, depending where Bitcoin goes also. Okay. Spice Banana says, congratulations on 10,000 followers. That's on Twitter. Yeah, thank you. That's been fun. Definitely have a great... I've also met a bunch of great people on Twitter or on X now that I follow and things like that. So it's been fun. I'm learning from them as well. Let's see. Cleanspark keeps diluting, and it looks like it will not catch its all-time high. What do you think? I disagree with that. Yes, they have been diluting, but the dilution has been accretive to investors. Again, going back to they have 300 million shares available to them right now. They've used up 250 some million, roughly, so they have like 40 some million left that they can still dilute from that original number. They're increasing their number of shares that's going to be available to them, but it doesn't mean that's going to be shares outstanding right away, or dilution at 300 million shares in the first 6 months to a year. Like I said before, I think it's going to be like 5 to 7 years potentially before they dilute that whole amount, which is, by that time, they should be like at 200 exahash or something like that. But we'll see. What else we got here? Seb listens to a lot of reggae. Is reggae calming? And the only one that I know of reggae was Bob Marley, I think. What else we got here? TerraWolf stock has been consistently rising with promises of advancements in HPC and AI. Will the company continue to deliver on these promises, and can we expect the stock to keep climbing? That's the question there. That's the question of the quarter, month, whatever you want to call it. If they don't get anything HPC deal or anything like that from a hyperscaler or anything like that, the stock is going to go down, and it's going to go down hard. They have a great location there, so I will give them that. They have access to great power as well. I'll give them that. They have access to a lot of water there, so I'll give them that. So they have a lot of things going for them. It's just whether or not they can get a deal there with somebody that either, one, buys them out or partners with them somehow, or leases the buildings, infrastructure, megawatts, or something like that. If they can't get that, then it's going to be over. Well, I wouldn't say it's over for the stock, but the stock is going to go down hard. Crypto Fever says, Sebastian has been hardworking, consistent, and dedicated since day one, that's for sure. Yeah, that would describe me in a nutshell, I guess. But yeah, thank you. And that's kind of the way I've been raised by my dad. Is be hardworking, be dependable. Be dependable as much as you can. Sometimes you get sick and things like that out of your control. You can't do anything at that point. But yeah. What are your thoughts on Bitmain's 860 terahash development collaboration with Hut 8? Great deal for Bitmain. On that one, Hut 8 is going to be hosting those machines for them, and then potential to buy them out or buy the machines at that point. I don't love that deal for Hut 8. I love the deal for Bitmain, but Hut 8 should be buying these doggone things and increasing their own hash rate, but they're not. But that's the way that they operate. Andre says, Seb, you are the man. Thanks for all your hard work. You're very welcome, and everyone, you're all very welcome. Appreciate you guys coming in here and having this chat with me. Let's see. Regarding allergy, have you tried a glass of cold milk? Hold against back of palate, soothes the sinuses. I'm lactose intolerant, so that doesn't work for me, unfortunately. But I would have tried that if that wasn't the case. Let's see. Iren is approximate building out 50 megawatts per month. 1 exahash takes roughly 50 megawatts. That's 3.3 exahash per month. Do you think they can achieve 70 by the end of 2025? Possible if they're going to get to 50 exahash sometime. And yeah, I think it might be possible, especially as the newer machines are coming online that are more efficient, higher hash rate. I think it would be possible for them. Let's see. Spice Business says, I'm down over 50% right now. I need it to go up now. So you bought probably like in the last 3 months or something like that on a lot of these guys here, it sounds like. Then yeah, you would be down. If you were buying over the last couple of years in dollar cost averaging, you would still possibly be up. I'm not saying that you would be for sure, but there's a higher chance that you would be up at that point. I'm still up on these guys here. Cleanspark, I'm still up over 160%. Bitfarms, I'm up like 40-some percent. And Iren, I'm up like 20% or something like that. I bought more shares when it was in like the 6s, but I was buying it in the like 3s and 4s as well, but I wasn't buying it that much. True Rebel Production, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thanks for update. Holding Bitfarms, nice. Let's see. Usher from Hut 8 made a 7-part tweet to give more context to last week's Bitmain. I saw that, yeah. I wasn't too thrilled by it. Eddie says, congrats on 10K. Happy for you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Let's see. Seb, did you watch the fireside chat? I did not. No, I went into the registration part of it, and I put in the details, but I couldn't get the video to pop up before doing this live stream. So if you guys have an actual link to the video or something like that, that would be great. But I was not able to see it. Let's see here. They were trying hard to sell the market. Didn't work in aftermarket, but as you always see, we'll see. They hit hard on the miners with HPC and how they're superior. Well, that's kind of what they normally do. Everybody does that, right? Everybody's going to pump their own bags. Let's see. What else we got here? Let's see here. Hi, Seb. What is Iren's value compared to Cleanspark? If you look at the value for Iren compared to Cleanspark, depending on what you're looking at, if it's enterprise value, I think they're pretty close here. We talked about that earlier here in the video as well. Where is it at? Enterprise, there it is. So they're kind of close, not too far apart. I think Iris is a little bit less, more undervalued right now on current hash rate. But when you look at future hash rate growth, you got, they're pretty close, 32 million, 38 million for each other. If we look at where is it at? Market cap on the companies here. Iren's at 1.4, Cleanspark's at 2.2. That makes sense to me. Cleanspark has more HODL, right? And a little bit more hash rate right now. So they should be getting a premium on that. So it kind of makes sense to me the way that they are valued right now, at least currently. We'll see how things progress going forward. Okay. Do you think Bitfarms will reach 12 plus exahash in September? I do believe so. Yeah. If they get the miners in from Bitmain that were defective to swap them out, they should be able to get to 12 plus. Yeah. Let's see. Let's see here. Sub, another question. Outside the miners, what's your thoughts on investing in defensive sectors during the recession? Because it's coming. I want to stay invested and not losing my portfolio. Yeah, I mean, if we have a recession, then yeah, that would be probably a good play. I'm just not sold that we're going to have a recession here. Only because we're lowering interest rates before there's actual recession. Typically, we would lower interest rates after a recession, or at least signs of a recession that we'd have. So for that reason, I think we might actually, the Fed might actually get a soft landing here, which would be great. So I'm still not 100% sold that we're going to have a recession here. If we do, it wouldn't be until maybe like 2026 potentially, I would think. Let's see here. Seb, it looks like Iren is catching Cleanspark in price and past it. Do you value Cleanspark over Iren? What do you think? Well, it can go past its share price, right? But it doesn't mean that it has a higher market cap because of it. Cleanspark has more shares outstanding than Iren does right now, and you have to also take that into consideration. Share price is just one thing to look at, but it doesn't mean anything in definitive terms, I guess you could say. What else we got here? Okay, let's see here. In the past cycles, was there a catalyst that started the bull run, or did Bitcoin just decide one day to take off? It just decided to take off one day. There was no catalyst really that I can think of in the last cycles. Let's see, in 2021, what did we have in 2021? Weren't we in the middle of the pandemic at that point, I think? When did we have rates going up? We had rates going up in 2022. So rates were kind of low, but yeah, I don't think there was anything that was a catalyst. We had a nice rally in 2017 in Bitcoin going from sub 1,000 to 19,000. Then we went from 19,000 to 63,000 in Bitcoin. There was really no catalyst. It's just the supply and demand of Bitcoin is what drives the price up on it. Okay. If you can ask Ben a question tomorrow, what would be the question? Thanks. So talking about Ben from Bitfarms there. What question would I ask? And he had to be 100% honest with me on that point. Why did they go after Stronghold? That would be my question. I want to know, what do they see that I don't see? What am I missing there on that one? Let's see here. Brad says took more profits on CORZ today. Nice. Let's see here. Anybody in Montreal going to the, I can't pronounce that, Cinema du Parc, October for Bitfarms meet. They're showing dirty coins. Should be awesome. Looking forward to seeing some of you. Well, you might be able to find, I don't know if Bryce would be going there. I don't know how far away he lives from there, but maybe Bryce would be going there. Let's see. Iren at 741 million market cap is almost criminal. They're not at 741, are they? Iren at 1.5 billion market cap. Not so. Where are you getting the 741 market cap? That's really low. That's like half of what they are actually. Let's see. What else here? Crypto Fever says the more people that scream recession, the more confident I get in the bullish thesis on for BTC miners. Yeah, I'm not. I've been hearing quite a bit of it recently here in the last probably 2 to 3 months. I don't know why that is, but yeah, I've been hearing it also more. Robbie Rose says M2 Global goes up with the inevitable printing. Yeah. Let's see. I gave my 6-year-old daughter a physical Bitcoin, and now she thinks it's worth 60K. Nice. That would be awesome. But yeah, I actually, my son had a, what was it? like an investment account or a savings account. He had a couple $1,000 into it, and I moved that over into, I think, one or two of the miners. I can't remember now, when they were actually pretty low. And that's going to do a lot better than if he held it in a savings account, which is going to do what, a couple percentage points or a couple percentage bases a year, if that. So I'm hoping that he has a nice little chunk of change there when the bull run is over with. Let's see. Brad says, don't forget to hit the like button and take your profits, people. Yeah, no shame in taking profits. If you do take profits, all good. What else we got here? Bryce believed in Vancouver too far from Montreal. Okay, yeah. I thought I saw the Iren market cap on your chart earlier. Might have been too small and didn't see it clearly. My bad. No problem. Yeah. But that was definitely shocking that somebody was saying that was 700 million. I was like, whoa, that's really low. Let's see. Do you think we see a time when we actually using Bitcoin in our daily lives to buy stuff? Oh, gosh. It would need to be much, much faster in transactions. We do have Lightning Network there to help out. But if everybody's going to be using it, you need it to be much, much faster. And they're working on it. So maybe in the next 50 years, I might be dead by then, but my kids might be using it or something like that, or something equivalent to Bitcoin. And I think Bitcoin is more of a store of value than anything else. It is being used for purchases in other countries, like third world countries, developing countries, and things like that, which is great. See, can Iren realistically reach $60 in the next 6 to 12 months? I strongly believe so. Unless something really goes wrong with Bitcoin and Bitcoin doesn't go above 100,000. But we would need probably Bitcoin at that point to be like 150,000, close to 180,000 in order for them to reach 60 plus at that point. Yeah, can't go broke taking profits. Absolutely. Yeah, if you're in profits, it's life-changing for you, take the profits. Let's see, how old are your boys, Seb? I know. I wish you well for you and your family. God bless you all. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the info and help. Europe, Macedonia. Nice. My boys are 6 and 12 right now. They're a blast. I love my boys. Let's see. CNBC was downplaying it, saying it only used for illegal purposes. Classic. Oh, that was in the past, though, but that was everybody saying it's used for illegal things. But so is cash. Everybody uses cash. Cash is probably used more for illegal activity than anything else. The U.S. dollar for that point. All right. I think we're done here, everyone. Came up with what is it? We're going on an hour. An hour. So we'll call it a day here. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Should be fun. I'm not expecting anything major from any of the miners at all. It's been kind of quiet with the miners, except for a couple of them this past month. But we'll also, at the end of the current quarter here, Q3, so then we're going to have to wait about 4 to 6 weeks before we get the financial results from those guys. So that'll be in probably November timeframe, sometime like that. But yeah, we're getting close. We got until Monday of next week for the month to end, and at that point we start getting the monthly updates as well. We'll see what happens tomorrow. We'll talk about it. We'll cover it. Anything else that happens. All right, but that's it. Thank you so much for coming in. Love you all. Have a great night or a great day if you're watching this early in the morning someplace. Really appreciate you guys coming in here, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.